Hi, welcome to Meal Prep with Abby, where I talk more about your mindset and techniques on meal prep rather than the recipes itself. So, today I want to talk about that one item that I cannot live without on my meal prep journey. If you ask me, Abby, I know you only cook for like one or two people, you cook a South Indian meal, you're a busy professional. Tell me that one thing I should get so I could be successful in my meal prep. It would be the deep freezer. I know. I can't believe myself after all these years of meal prepping that that's the one item I cannot live without. But hear me out. Even if you're cooking for one or two people, which I do, I still get so much value out of that deep freezer. Especially if you're someone like me. The problem is not that you don't have recipes to cook. You probably know what you want to cook. You probably know when you want to cook what. But it's just that you don't have time. And if you have time, you don't have the energy. You're exhausted. If you're a busy professional, like a student, or even like a parent, I bet you could relate with me, right? How many times have you guys gone shopping, have come home and looked at like all of the stuff that you need to put away, and then you're already exhausted? Forget about prepping or cooking at that point, right? Deep freezer has really helped me leverage my time. So these are the ways I use my deep freezer. So when I go shopping to Costco or even like a regular grocery store, I buy everything in bulk. The day I go to Costco, I'll come home, I'll just portion things out, just season meat and seafood if I wanted to, just take out like that big bag of frozen vegetables and I'll just portion them out in individual portions. And I'll just like date and freeze. And then I'm done for the day. That's all I do. I do not do any more prepping or cutting or anything like that on that day. So one day I'll go to like the Indian store. I'll bring back all of the lentils and all of these like frozen Indian vegetables, and most of them all come in like small packs when I get at the Indian store. I'll just come back and I'll just like throw them all in the deep freezer and then I'm done. If I go to like an Asian market, it's the same thing. If I go to like regular like grocery store, like a Stop and Shop or a ShopRite, it's the same thing. I just come home, I like put everything away and I'm done for the day. I don't go shopping too often. Once a week, when I do my big meal prep for the week, I always end up doing one bulk item that I'll throw in the freezer. Sometimes I'll make my onion curry base or like my tomato curry base in bulk. And I'll portion them out in like an ice cube tray. I'll measure them out in a 1 cup amount. And then I just freeze them all. I date them and freeze them, and that's all I do for that week. This way, when I come home tired from work, I could just pull like a cube of the curry base. I could just pull like a frozen vegetable of my choice from the freezer, and I just put them together and I'm done. I'm done for that day. Sometimes I'll also get like a whole big pack of spinach from Costco. And when I come home, I cream that whole spinach, whole box of spinach, and I'll just freeze them and portion them out and freeze it in my deep freezer. This way, when I'm too tired, even to put those curries together, I'll just pretty much defrost what I have in the freezer and I'll just eat them. I also make my beans from scratch because come on, we have all been there. How many times have you guys like opened that can of beans and had good intention to use that second portion of your canned beans and they've all gone to waste? I do my bulk prep my canned beans in the Instapot. I will attach like a video at the end of this. I'll attach my video on how I prep my canned beans at the end of this video so you guys could check it out. I just bulk prep my canned beans, like all my beans, and I freeze them instead of using canned beans. I just freeze my beans in portions I want that's usable for my purpose. And without the deep freezer, none of this would be possible. Deep freezer is relatively inexpensive compared to like a big fridge. It comes from, you could get it from like a 5 cubic foot size all the way to like 10 or even like 15 and above. I have like a 7 cubic foot deep freezer. Mind you, I only cook for like 1 or 2 people. So 7 cubic foot is all the deep freezer. I use that space, you guys. I have stuff in my freezer all the time. If I don't feel like I want to go shopping, I could not go shopping for a week and I will survive and I will eat good, healthy food. Sometimes I don't want to go to ShopRite. I buy no fresh produce and I could just go through my deep freezer and keep using all of those frozen vegetables I have in my deep freezer and I could survive for a week. If I come back from vacation, I don't bother going shopping. I'll just pull all of those like prepared food that I have frozen. So this way I could take it easy on that particular week when I come back from vacation. So deep freezer is by far the one thing I could not live without. I have like a 7 cubic foot deep freezer. You could get it either from like 5, it starts I think from 5 all the way up to like 14. It's relatively inexpensive. I think the 5 foot starts at like maybe $200 something, and you're looking for like every 5 or 3 feet, you'll have like another $100 more. So you could get like a 10 cubic foot deep freezer for like around $350 to $400. If you think about the amount of use you get out of that deep freezer, it's a relatively economical amount, right? Unlike you go to buy a fridge, it's like thousands of dollars. It's like you can't buy a decent fridge for less than like $1,500. It's anywhere from like $900 to like $1,500. And there are fridges now that's like $2,300, $2,400, which is great. But what I notice is when I'm cooking for one person, I barely use the fridge space. The food, when I put in the fridge, I feel like it loses its flavor. It starts getting old. I do not like reheating stuff out of the fridge and keep eating the food I leave in my fridge. And that is the truth. I would much rather take like the frozen vegetables from the freezer and like cook them fresh than make food for a whole week, leave it in the fridge and keep reheating them. The freezer keeps your food more fresh. The frozen vegetables are much more nutrient dense than buying vegetables at the regular grocery store and leaving them in your fridge for like 2 weeks. So I much rather use the deep freezer space than the fridge space. If you get me stuck with like a contractor grade fridge that you get in like these apartments and stuff, which is what I have, I'll be totally fine. I could do that. I could work with it as long as I have like a deep freezer. Deep freezer is what I use the most. I'm yet to have anyone that I've recommended get a deep freezer come to me and say, Abby, it was such a waste of money. I don't know why you made me get that deep freezer. Every one of my friends, every one of my clients that I help set up for meal prep have all been mind blown by how much the deep freezer had changed their life, how much use they get out of it. Just get a deep freezer and like see how much it changes your meal prep journey. If you already have a deep freezer and if you're already using your deep freezer, I'd love to hear from you guys about it. Just leave a comment below and I want to hear about how much you use your deep freezer. But if you're someone who has not gotten a deep freezer or have not thought about it, please leave a comment after you buy a deep freezer and you start using them. If you want to know more ways to use your deep freezer and how you could leverage your deep freezer to get more time and energy in your life, please do subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of meal prepping based on freezing your own prepped food or getting like frozen vegetables and like quickly putting some meal together. And I do so many of those. And I'd love to, hopefully you guys could take some of these tips and techniques from my meal prep journey and use it for your own. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.